If you live with chronic fatigue, you know the ultimate energy paradox, right? You need to eat good food to get energy, but you need energy just to make the food in the first place. Even thinking about it can be completely draining. So today, we're going to dive in and talk about real strategic ways to handle food and fuel your body without sending yourself into a crash. Wow, this quote just gets right to the heart of it. The kitchen, which should be this place of nourishment, becomes a trigger. We're talking about post-exertional malaise, or PEM, that awful payback you get after even a little bit of effort. The standing, the chopping, even just deciding what to make, it all adds up. And suddenly, cooking is one of the biggest hurdles in your day. So, to get a handle on this, we're going to use a really powerful concept called the spoon theory. Now, if you haven't heard of it, just imagine this. You wake up with, say, 12 spoons for the entire day. That's all you get. And every single thing you do costs you. Getting dressed, that's a spoon. Chopping a carrot, another spoon. Washing that pan, yep, that's a spoon too. And when you're out of spoons, you are just done. So our entire goal here is to figure out how to get the most nourishment for the absolute fewest spoons possible. Okay, before we even get to the tips and tricks, we have to start with the most important part, your mindset. This is about shifting from just trying to survive the day to actually becoming a strategist. You're not focused on what you can't do, you're focused on managing your energy like the incredibly precious resource it is. This story just captures that mindset shift perfectly. An occupational therapist talked about a client who felt like getting a shower chair was a sign of defeat, but they worked together to reframe it. The chair wasn't about what she'd lost, it was a tool that saved her energy for the things she actually wanted to do. That chair became a symbol of empowerment, not weakness. And here's exactly what that looks like in the kitchen. The old way of thinking says, ugh, I have to use a stool to cook. I'm giving up. But the new strategic view says, you know what? Using this stool saves me spoons, which means I'll actually have energy left to sit down and enjoy my meal. See the difference? It's not weakness. It's a tactic. It's smart. So it really all boils down to these key shifts. Accepting help, whether it's from another person or just a handy gadget, isn't weakness, it's strategy. And letting go of perfection is huge. Sometimes a meal of cheese and crackers is way better than no meal at all because you are too tired to cook something proper. Good enough is absolutely the new goal. All right, so now that we've got that strategic mindset locked in, let's get practical. It's time to build our pacing playbook. This is all about the how-to, the real actionable strategies you can use to save those spoons in the kitchen. Okay, if you take only one thing away from this section, let it be this. This is a total game changer. Decouple, or separate, your prep from your eating. What does that mean? It means you stop waiting until you're hungry and already tired to start thinking about cooking. You do the prep work whenever you have a little window of energy, so when mealtime comes, the hard part is already done. Now, a great way to put that principle into action is with something called a pacing hierarchy. Think of it like a 3-level system that lets you match what you're doing in the kitchen to how much energy you actually have on a given day. Because let's be real, your energy isn't the same every day, so your food strategy shouldn't be either. You adapt. So level 1, this is for those days where you have basically 0 spoons. We've all been there. These are your emergency, no prep needed foods. I'm talking about meal replacement shakes, protein bars, a handful of nuts, some cheese, maybe tinned fish like tuna or sardines. The goal here is just nourishment, 0 energy spent. Level 2 is for your low spoon days. You've got a little something, but not much. These are your assembly-only meals. You're not really cooking, you're just combining things. Think about grabbing a pre-cooked rotisserie chicken and pairing it with a bagged salad, or microwaving some rice and throwing in some tinned beans and frozen veggies. It's minimal effort for a really decent reward. And level 3, this is for your good energy days, and you use that energy strategically. This is when you do some batch cooking. You make a big pot of soup or a bolognese sauce or a chili, then you divide it into single portions and pop them in the freezer. You're basically making your own future-ready meals for those inevitable low-energy days. And don't forget, pacing also means outsourcing. That can look like a lot of different things. Tier 1 could be as simple as getting your groceries delivered, which saves you the huge energy cost of a trip to the store. And it can go all the way up to Tier 5, where maybe you have personal care assistants that can help with the cooking itself. Every single task you can hand off is another spoon saved. Okay, let's switch gears and talk about the kitchen itself, your environment. A few simple tools can literally change the entire energy equation of cooking.
This is all about creating an adaptive kitchen where the tools, not you, do the heavy lifting. What's the biggest energy suck in the kitchen? It's standing. It's just standing there. So rule number 1 is sit whenever you possibly can. A perching stool is amazing because it keeps you at counter height. A kitchen chair on wheels lets you just glide from the fridge to the counter. And hey, if you absolutely have to stand, an anti-fatigue mat can make a world of difference. Next up, let's talk about letting a gadget handle the tough stuff. Chopping can be so taxing. An L-shaped knife totally changes your grip and takes the strain off your joints. Food scissors are brilliant for cutting up everything from herbs to chicken with way less effort. And an automatic jar opener? For so many people, that one little tool is the difference between independence and having to ask for help.
Now for the bigger appliances. Honestly, slow cookers and Instant Pots are the undisputed champions of what I call dump-and-go cooking. You just throw everything in, turn it on, and walk away. No standing over a hot stove, no stirring. Air fryers are also great because they cook things quickly without heating up your whole kitchen, which is a lifesaver if you're sensitive to heat. And we can't forget about the mental energy. Brain fog is real, and it can make trying to follow a recipe feel impossible, not to mention unsafe. Simple things can help. Use your smartwatch to set timers to remind you to check the oven. And to fight that what do I make decision fatigue, keep a physical list on your fridge of your easiest go-to meals. When you're tired, you don't have to think, you just pick one. Okay, so we've talked about our mindset, we've gone through the pacing playbook, and we've tooled up our kitchen. So let's pull this all together and talk about what success actually looks like when you're managing chronic fatigue.
This right here, this is the big takeaway. Success is not some fancy gourmet meal you made from scratch. That's the old definition. The new definition of success is simply this. You nourished your body and you did it without triggering a crash. That's it. That's the win.
So let's just quickly recap the 3 pillars we've covered. First, we reframe our mindset. We remember that tools mean empowerment and that good enough is our new best friend. Second, we pace our activities. We use that hierarchy of no prep, assembly, and batch cooking. And third, we adapt our environment with tools that save us both physical and mental energy.
And we'll leave you with this final thought. This isn't about changing everything all at once. It's about taking small, kind steps. So, just for today, what is one single task, maybe in the kitchen, maybe not, that you can simplify to honor your body and the energy you have right now?